Good evening, boys. Now we will proceed further through the prose piece, The Eyes Habit. In the last class, we stopped at October is the best time. Now follow me while I read the next part. She was silent. I was describing the landscape of Mussoorie in the month of October. I stopped, but she did not comment anything. I wondered if my words had touched her, or whether she thought me a romantic fool. I wondered what the result of my words might be. What was its influence on her? Then I made a mistake. What is it like outside? I asked. It was a mistake because the narrator was blind, and he tried heart and soul to hide his blindness. But he asked how the outside view was. It was a hint that he himself could not see, because he himself too was sitting by a window, and he himself could enjoy the beauty of the outside world. So why did he ask the girl to see it? She seemed to find nothing strange in the question, but she did not reply. Her reaction did not mean that she doubted anything. Had she noticed already that I could not see? The reason of it might be that the girl had already noticed that the narrator was blind, so she did not wonder when he asked her to look outside. But her next question removed my doubts. Her next question removed the doubts of the narrator. The narrator doubted whether she might have doubted anything about his vision. His doubt was removed by the next question of the girl. Why don't you look out of the window? She asked. Her next question was why the narrator himself did not look out of the window to see the view. I moved easily along the berth and felt for the window ledge. Then the narrator moved a little to approach the window. The window was open, and I faced it, making a pretense of studying the landscape. It was a pretense because he actually was blind. He pretended to see the outside view. I heard the panting of the engine. Panting means the gasping sound, the sound of the engine, the rumble of the wheels, the sound that was made by the wheels, and in my mind's eye I could see telegraph posts flashing by, because the narrator is not a born blind. In his boyhood, he had vision. So he had some previous experiences of seeing the outside view from a railway carriage. He reminded the scene that the telegraph posts flash by while the train is moving. Have you noticed, I ventured, that the trees seem to be moving while we seem to be standing still? It is a childish question, because everybody knows that from a railway carriage all the outside objects seem to move backwards. That always happens, she said. Do you see any animals? That always happens means always the outside objects seem to move backwards. Then she asked the narrator if he could see any animal outside the compartment. No, I answered quite confidently. The narrator could not see. He was blind. But he replied that he could not see any animal. And he replied it quite confidently. Why? I knew that there were hardly any animals left in the forest near Dera. Once there were many wild animals in that area, but the European hunters and the Indian poachers killed almost all those animals. So nowadays there is almost no wild animal in that area. The narrator knew it, and he replied quite confidently that he could not see any animal. I turned from the window and faced the girl, and for a while we sat in silence. Then the narrator turned his face from the window and faced the girl, and for quite a long time both he and the girl passenger remained silent. You have an interesting face, I remarked. It was a flattery. It was made to impress the girl. He said, you have an interesting face, because it was a safe remark. An ugly face too may be interesting. A beautiful face, of course, may be interesting. So it was a safe remark than saying you have a pretty face, because he could not see the face of the girl. I was becoming quite daring, but it was a safe remark. Few girls can resist flattery. Flattery means false praise. Almost every girl is moved by false praise. Almost every girl is impressed by false praise. She laughed pleasantly, a clear, ringing laugh. She laughed. It was a ringing laugh. It was a ringing laughter. There was a ringing sound in her laughter. It's nice to be told I have an interesting face. I am tired of people telling me I have a pretty face, the girl said. That it was new to her to be told that she had an interesting face, because almost everyone says that she has a pretty face. Oh, so you do have a pretty face, thought I. When she said that, people praised her pretty face. The narrator understood that her face was pretty too. And aloud I said, well, an interesting face can also be pretty. It is natural. Any face of any look may be interesting. A pretty face too may be interesting. You are a very gallant young man. Gallant means brave. She said, but why are you so serious? Serious here means reserved. The narrator did not praise the girl fluently. So, he seemed to be a little reserved. I thought then I would try to laugh for her, to make her glad. But the thought of laughter only made me feel troubled and lonely. But why should I laugh? For what should I laugh? This thought made me feel lonely. Well, we will soon be at your station, I said. Then I remarked that we would be at her station, which was Saharanpur, very soon. Thank goodness it's a short journey, the girl said. The girl thanked God for the short journey. I can't bear to sit in a train for more than 2 or 3 hours. Some people have a kind of allergy in traveling in train. Some others have the same kind of allergy in traveling in buses. Some others have it in traveling in cars. The girl had a kind of allergy in traveling in trains. She could not bear it for more than 2 or 3 hours. Yet I was prepared to sit there for almost any length of time just to listen to her talking. The narrator liked the girl. He liked her voice. So he was ready to sit there for any length of time to talk to her. Her voice had the sparkle of a mountain stream. Sparkle here means shine or charm. The girl's voice had the charm of a mountain stream. As soon as she left the train, she would forget our brief encounter. Encounter means meeting. This short meeting will not last long in her memory, but it would stay with me for the rest of the journey and for some time after. But I cannot forget this meeting for a long period. I shall remember it during the whole time of the journey and perhaps some more time after the end of the journey. The engine's whistle shrieked. The engine whistled because the station was approaching. The carriage wheels changed their sound and rhythm because the train was moving then in deceleration. It was slowing its speed, so the rhythm of the wheels changed. The girl got up and began to collect her things. She was getting ready to leave the compartment. I wondered if she wore her hair in bun or if it was plaited. Bun, plait, etc. are different kinds of hair binding style. I was thinking about her hairstyle. Perhaps it was hanging loose over her shoulders, or was it cut very short? Her hair might be long, it might also be short. The narrator, as he was blind, could not see it. He was wondering about the girl's hairstyle. Today, stopping here. The rest part will be discussed in the next class. Good night.